stuff. Consciousness is not new stuff. Whatever it is not new. It's not new age. It's not new. It's been here long before scientists started thinking about it. It's a blind spot in the scientific view. It's really like mind doesn't matter because it's not matter, or it matters only if it is matter. You got that one? There's no evidence at all that in fact consciousness is matter. There's no evidence at all that mind is equivalent to the corresponding brain states. It's called the mind-body problem, and it's not been solved. You don't talk it out of existence by just saying mind is a way of talking about the brain, because it's evidently not. Consciousness is not a way of talking at all. Right? Love for a wife, for a friend, for a teacher, for humanity is not a way of talking. There is no scientific definition of consciousness, or there are 250, which is the same thing. There's no way of measuring it objectively in anything. We don't know scientifically what are the causes and conditions that give rise to consciousness. Are plants consciousness? Are elementary particles consciousness? The answer is we don't know scientifically. We don't know what are the conditions that give rise to it, and therefore it is mere hubris to say that, well, we don't know where it comes from, but we certainly know that it terminates at death. No, you don't. The historian Daniel Boorstin said the greatest obstacle to scientific discovery is the illusion of knowledge, not ignorance. The scientific community has a lot of illusions of knowledge about consciousness. As if, well, after all, it's simply get sufficiently complex array of neurons together and then consciousness pops up. Thomas Huxley, the originator of kind of the church to which I think Sean belongs, called the Church of Scientific Materialism, said that the notion that consciousness or thoughts emerge from chemicals and electricity, and let's not mystify the brain, it's chemicals and electricity in very complex arrays. It's just like believing that a genie comes out of a lamp. It's magical thinking, really. Love is not a way of talking about neurons. Love, you understand it by loving, not by knowing about neurons. One is not reducible to another. Only a robot would think that one is reducible to the other because a robot doesn't have any subjective experience. So this view that mind, well, since we can't explain it in terms of physics, therefore it must be nothing other than the brain, is a way of avoiding the problem rather than hitting it on face on. Sean's view here is determinism, which is to say that every time you feel you're making a choice, in fact, what's happening is simply what needed to happen because of the configuration of physical phenomena and the laws of nature. In other words, you could not have acted differently. That's determinism. It's Laplacian determinism. If you feel comfortable with that, I would suggest you go back to the novelist Isaac Bashevis Singer, who said, when he was asked, do you believe in free will? And he said, yeah, of course. Do I have any choice? We have to be taking first-person experience far more seriously, and we haven't. Because for about the last century, since John Watson, the rise of behaviorism, and the snuffing out of the radical empiricism of William James, we've been looking at behavior, we've been looking at brain. That's great. But we're missing the main event, a rigorous scientific way of observing the mind. So I'm not here to promote some Buddhist worldview or set of beliefs. I'm not here to promote the notion mind is separate from matter. But I am saying that our scientific way of addressing the mind now is not scientific. Not in the way that geology, particle physics, astronomy, and so forth, where you rigorously observe the phenomena you're trying to seek. Introspection plays almost no role, and refined, developed introspection plays no role whatsoever in the modern scientific study of the mind. We're missing something here. And that's because the dogma of materialism, of physicalism, is saying, well, if you skip the first-person perspective, skip introspection, what have you missed after all? This is not a matter of Earth is in the center of the universe. It's rather suggesting that throughout the entire universe, there may be conscious beings. The Buddhist view is not the Abrahamic. In the Buddhist view, planet Earth is not the center of the universe. This, in the Buddhist view, is one in a cluster of 100 billion inhabited world systems. And that's only one cluster. And there are many, many clusters of 100 billion-fold inhabited world systems throughout space. So we have to get off the notion that Western religion is the only religion. I don't even think